Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are, and welcome to another Nerd Nation stream. We're talking Mandalorian, Season 2, Episode 5, Chapter 13, The Jedi. I'm with my usual cohorts here. First of all, let me introduce you to my kind of namesake, Ahsoka Tano, Ginger Greek. How you doing, my son?
I'm as good as it gets.
And also my Starfleet Academy cohort, Cousin Cheetah. How you doing, mate?
Hanging in there. How about you?
Fantastic. Oh, I'm great, mate. I'm great. We got what we wanted. This was an episode I think a lot of people were looking forward to. It was teased. It was rumored that this was the one where Ahsoka Tano was going to be in, and she is in. By the way, this is a spoiler-filled fucking review, with a discussion, debate. Please join us if you're watching live. This was the episode with Ahsoka Tano in it, and she was in it from the very beginning. It starts with her killing some henchmen, dual wielding those fucking lightsabers, baby. The white lightsabers as well. First time I've seen white lightsabers in live action. And after killing these henchmen, she's negotiating with some fucking evil henchwoman. Her name gets revealed a bit later on, but I'll bring it up right now. Is Morgan Elsper. She basically survived the Clone Wars, and then the aftermath of that, she basically took over everything, took advantage of the aftermath, and basically rules this particular planet with a bit of a iron fist. As you can see, she's fucking ruined a lot of the planet as well. It was a great little start seeing Ahsoka doing her thing, flying around, fucking with people, using Jedi tricks as well, fucking like the opening. We also saw Carl Reese himself in the beginning of this episode too. Michael Biehn, James Cameron's favorite fucking son. You know, he's been in 4 James Cameron movies. Yes, he was in Terminator 2 as well. That's the one included. So this was the opening. I'll start with you, Cousin Cheeto. What do you think?
I thought this was a great introduction. I am not a huge Ahsoka Tano fan or anything like that. Like, I just didn't get into Clone Wars or Rebels or anything like that. I know enough about it to know what's going on and why she's where and why she has white lightsabers and where she went. But I mean, and I love Rosario Dawson. Don't get me wrong. I love her. But was this Ahsoka Tano like the be all end all of what I wanted for a Mandalorian episode? Not really. I mean, you know me and Jedis and lightsabers. I don't care that much for it.
Fair enough. But do you like the opening?
Yeah, it was a good opening. It was a good opening introducing the character to this format. I mean, it's the first ever live action Ahsoka Tano. So,
Did you recognize Michael Biehn straight away?
I did not. You
know what? I did. I thought to myself, I know this motherfucker. And then he spoke. And then I thought, yeah, Michael Biehn. Ahsoka, what are you saying? How do you like the opening?
Yeah, I thought it was a nice little introduction. Very cool way to kind of showcase his skills. I think the white sabers in live action look absolutely gorgeous. The way it works with the lighting and things like that. It was kind of nice because she's just in her element now, doing her thing, you know, clearing out bad guys, trying to free up whatever it is she was doing. I'm with Cheeto in that I'm not a big Ahsoka fan. You know, I knew it from like the first season of Clone Wars. Didn't really watch beyond the first season. But I know, you know, look, she has a huge following. She does have a fan base. So it was nice to see like the fans get something nice. And Rosario Dawson was perfect for the part. I think
Absolutely.
That was perfect casting. Seeing Michael Biehn, I was like, oh, that's a nice little touch. I didn't expect that. Because I was like, he looks familiar. He looks familiar, but more crackhead than I remember. I was like, oh, it's Michael Biehn. He can look as crackhead as he wants. He's in his 60s.
Still in good shape, but he sounds like he's been smoking a few.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it was a nice enough opening scene. I'll leave it at that for now until we discuss further the episode.
Okie dokie. So after that little opener, we then cut back to the Razor Crest, and they've arrived at Kovas, I believe that's the name of the planet. Am I correct?
Something like that.
Yeah, okie dokie. And once again, we get little shenanigans with Baby Yoda. He likes the little ball on that fucking on that lever, and he uses the Force to get it. And that
was foreshadowing.
Yeah,
there was a little. Well, for me, the foreshadow was once they landed on the planet and he tucked it in his pocket. You know,
yeah,
that was the proper. Yeah, then I knew. then I knew for sure that ball was going to come into play. So yeah, so he
hasn't even really gone after it in the past couple episodes, and now all of a sudden he's going after it in this episode.
Exactly, it was silly. Yeah.
The cool looking planet has got these sort of dino aliens on it. You see them? They look like giant blurgs or blargs or whatever the fuck they were called from the pilot. That was a nice, maybe it felt a little bit Jurassic Parkish, nice little callback, maybe a little homage to Steven Spielberg there. You know, he's tight with those motherfuckers. And we get Mando obviously entering the town, and when he gets to the gates, you know, Michael Biehn looks down at him. I'm gonna just call him Carl Reese. He looks down at him and lets him in after once over. And then this particular town is, you know, it's funny in the way it's supposed to be a big town. When he flew over it, you know, it looked like a massive town, but once he walked through those doors, man, I mean, they didn't I can understand budget and all of that, but they didn't do a good enough job, in my opinion, of expanding the look of this place. It looked fucking tiny once they were in there. It looked like one street to the fucking center. But nevertheless, Mando's around there asking questions. He then gets invited in to see Morgan Elsper, and Morgan Elsper then tells him that, you know, I'm going to give you this fucking Beskar spear if you kill the Jedi. And now, obviously, the Mando knows he's just playing along with this because he wants to find the Jedi, well, even though they want to kill him. And then he goes off and looks for Ahsoka. So, but prior to seeing Ahsoka, up to this particular point, you get a good feel for the town. You agree with me regarding the look of the town. I thought it looked really fucking shit, considering what we've been getting recently. And some of the characters.
I think it was supposed to look like shit because
no. It looks like shit, but it looks impressively shit. This didn't look. This is the sets looking shit. You know what I mean? It looked terrible, and it looked like a shitty Star Trek episode in that sense. Morgan Elsper for me, like so far one of the worst villains I've fucking seen in this show. Absolutely not intimidating at all. I couldn't believe how far they went with this person regarding who she is and what she can fucking do, as we'll get to later on in this episode. But didn't like this person. If anything, I wanted more of Michael Biehn because you're making this fucking cult status actor a fucking henchman. He should have been in her fucking shoes. You know, that would have been fucking cool. You know, but no, we had it like this. Didn't fucking like it. Don't like this fucking character. I hope we don't fucking see her again. But up to this particular point, what do you guys think? I'll start with you, Ginge.
So this is just before the Mando goes off to find Ahsoka, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I lost my trail of thought for a second there.
Sorry, I apologize.
No, it's me. I lost my trail of thought. I mean, you know, you the problem here now the whole episode starts to unravel after that nice opening scene. Then you get then you get Mando again fucking talking too much to Baby Yoda while they're on the ship on the Razor Crest. And there the thing with the ball, you're like, oh yeah, here we go, foreshadowing. Something's gonna happen with this ball later on in the show. And especially, you know, once he puts it in his pocket, blah blah blah, goes to the town, and yeah, you just get another pantomime villain talking to you like you're a fucking idiot. It's like, oh, go get her and I'll give you this spear. It's like, off you go, and you're like, all right, you know, you can kind of tell what's going to happen, especially with one of the villagers that was there. That was like, no, don't talk to us. And you're like, oh, okay, he's going to be a hero later, and all this kind of stuff. You could see it coming. So yeah, it was an eye-rolling scene.
Before I pass it on to Bob, I just want to say that what started upsetting me very early on in this episode is that we had a villain of the week scenario again, and I thought to myself, come on, could you somehow write a good episode without having that? You know what I mean? To close it, and that involves Ahsoka Tano. You don't need these bad guys to make it exciting. Just give us a good, solid episode of depth and world building, and we still had to have, for the sake of action, some action scenes, you know, which felt forced in with this fucking narrative. I don't know if you felt the same when you saw the villain of the week. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I did. And you want to expand on that, or
who, me?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, again, yeah, for me, it just felt like, oh, yeah, okay, I know, I get it. He's gonna go meet Ahsoka Tano, but rather than just being a nice, deep episode about things that have happened with the Jedi or exploring that kind of world or or something, we get the scenario where, okay, you know what's gonna happen. They're gonna work together. They're gonna clear out the city. Everyone's happy in the end. Blah blah blah. Fucking blah. We've seen it all before. Uh, yeah, so it was just treading. I mean,
Familiar ground.
yeah, you could say treading familiar ground, but then I mean, most series tread familiar grounds and that. But given who he went to meet, it was just a shame that it was on a backdrop of doing another bog standard mission of clearing out a town and from like bad people again.
Once again, do you think maybe if Michael Biehn was the main baddie, would that maybe have made it a little bit better instead of him being a henchman, for fuck's sake? It's Michael Biehn, for fuck's sake. No?
Look, we know who obviously we don't want to say just yet Ahsoka why she's there and what she's doing, but it was just like again the hunt for the person she's looking after. It could have been like better. It could have been like with old Imperial forces and something, just a different setting rather than just a box standard kind of
villain of the week.
Villain of the week thing.
Okay, Bob, what do you think so far? Now he's gone into this fucking very Japanese themed this particular episode, especially when he went into Morgan Elsper's fucking chamber and you see all this sort of like bonsai trees and stuff like that, and the vibes that was given. But regarding meeting these villains and getting to know them, what do you think?
I mean, it as Ginger said, it's kind of getting typical where the formula is Mando goes somewhere to figure out something about the main plot, which is Baby Yoda. Then he gets roped into, hey, well, you help me, I'll help you. And then there's always a bad guy, a villain, or something of the week. And and then they beat them, and then they progress the main storyline just a little bit more in the end. So, I mean, last week we got a crap ton of actual story progression with the Baby Yoda character. This week, there was a lot of, I don't want to say that there was a lot of progression. There was a lot of information dumped on us, but there wasn't a lot of progression, in my opinion. So I don't know how, take that how you want. And I don't know.
No,
I agree. I see what you mean. So
yeah,
okay, so
I feel like Rosario Dawson, like I don't know if we've made it here yet, but like when she's talking or sensing, Baby Yoda.
Oh yeah, we have to go to that bit. Yeah.
Okay. Well, it just seems like there's
I'm just getting there.
Okay. Well, it just seems like there's a big info dump there, and that's what it is. So I mean, go ahead.
Well, no problem. So Mando, he goes looking for Ahsoka. Obviously, she comes out and they have their little battle, a bit like how him and Cara Dune got to know each other. Obviously, the misunderstanding is dealt with and they're cool. Ahsoka then starts communicating with Baby Yoda, and she communicates with him telepathically. And we find out that his real name is Grogu. What a fucking Grogu. It is a bizarre name. I'm not sure if it rolls off the tongue so well and it feels right to say all the time, Grogu. Maybe I'll get used to saying it. But, this little Yoda species, he escaped the temple. He was in the Jedi temple in episode 3, and he escaped when the mass assassinations of all the Jedis were happening by the clones and Anakin Skywalker. And Mando tells Ahsoka as well that he's been destined, he's been tasked actually, to give Grogu to a Jedi. So Ahsoka basically says she'll train Goku the following day. She does a little bit. She tries to do some well, she uses some force techniques on him, but it's not happening. So she asks the Mando to do it, and then this is where the ball comes out. The foreshadowing. Uses the ball. That's the thing that triggers Baby Yoda. Sorry, Grogu. I do apologize. I did that on purpose. And he gets the fucking ball, and he's really happy. Like, well done, son. It's like a fucking game of catch, wasn't it? It was like a fucking game playing catch with your son. Like, what? Pat him on the back. Attaboy, you fucking done it. But because there's an attachment between these two, Ahsoka doesn't want to train Grogu because he's worried that because of the attachment, it might turn him to the dark side. And I'll be honest with you, this attachment shit. This is the first time it kind of started to actually make sense a little bit. Out of all the years in the past, it never really felt like it made sense because there was always going to be an attachment with Jedi because they have attachments with their masters and other Jedis and shit like that. So, but this time it really fucking made sense. So, props to them. What do you guys think? All of this, from him meeting to the revelations regarding Baby Yoda, him being part of the Jedi Temple and shit like that. Lots of information was dumped on us. The communications between between the two Force users telepathically. There's so much to talk about. I'll start with you, Ginge.
Right. So apart from obviously the initial fight at the beginning, which you kind of saw coming, you kind of saw that whole bit coming. It was like didn't really need to happen. But when they start, speaking telepathically, and all the information is dumped, and all of that, this is kind of the first time in Mandalorian where they just slowed things down and took their time to explain certain things that have happened, to kind of just discuss the situation. And I liked this scene. This is probably the one thing that I liked about it, was that we got more information about what happened, where the kid came from, all this kind of like good stuff. For me, it was the strongest scene in the whole of the episode, and it was just nice. Remember, like I said last week, it's like they just rush to the next bit. 2 minutes of dialogue, rush to the next bit. It's like, calm down, talk. The whole point of this is you want to just get. Sometimes you just want to just breathe in the moment and let characters just develop and pour themselves out and all of that. And I thought it was a really good scene.
There's little bits I love, like when he would say Grogu and then Baby Yoda, Grogu would react. I got to start calling him by his name as well. Grogu would react to his name. Those touches, fucking loved it. And
they said Grogu like 14 times in this episode so that you would get it. So now every Baby Yoda piece of merchandise is now going to say Grogu and Mando.
You get Grogu's on shit. We'll have to figure out how the spelling is. I literally wrote Gro and Gu, Gu. That's how I spelt it. So Grogu. Okay. Anyway, Bob, what do you think? The introduction of Mando and Ahsoka together, and the revelations of Baby Yoda. I mean, he looked really broken as well. It's amazing how they can make a puppet look so fucking broken. It was a good job.
I agree with Ginger. This was it was an information dump, but he's right. It was good for it to slow down and just give us the information we need, because we need a little bit of the character progression here with this character. And last season we learned a lot about the Mandalorian and all the people around him, and we didn't learn an awful lot about Grogu's character. And now this season, I think we're actually kind of more focusing on the Baby Yoda character, which I think is good. I was kind of hoping Ahsoka would take him, but we'll see when we get to the end.
I didn't think that was going to happen.
No, I didn't think it was going to happen. I was hoping, but
all of us were kind of hoping, but I just knew it just wasn't. It wasn't coming.
But it was kind of interesting. It was good to get the backstory on Baby Yoda. Here's my thing: is that can Baby Yoda just not articulate? And like he understands, but he I get it. He's 50 years old, but can he just not speak because he's too young? Or
he's just got good at wiring. That's all.
Yeah, probably too young. Like if you look at babies, for example, babies can take in a lot of information and understand a lot, but they still haven't found the way to express themselves and articulate themselves fully yet, from a very young age. And so Baby Yoda is kind of like around there.
Okay. It was really weird that Baby Yoda was able to give out all that information and yet still can't talk. As I said,
Yeah, I mean, maybe
It's the Force, bruv.
with the Force, it's more like a lot of visual communication.
Vader was able to detect that he had a daughter, Luke's sister, without even Luke saying a fucking word, so they can pick, and so it's possible if you willingly are willing to let each other into each other's thoughts, then I'm sure the information will be a lot easier to transmit. This is me
It might have been
putting logical solutions to fictional problems right there.
and it might have just been, it might have just been like she used the Force to kind of see his past through his mind, yada yada yada. I thought it would have been funny if we found out that he was a girl, like at all.
I was expecting that. When he said like, well, what does he say? And I was expecting it to go like, well, it's a she actually, and I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. And the gender change. But
Grogu. What?
Yeah.
His name is Grogu.
Which is a very fitting name given the Japanese theme of the episode.
Yeah. Is it Kurosawa? If I felt a lot of those vibes in there, even with the trees and stuff.
Elements in there.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah,
so Mando then reveals to Ahsoka, look, I've been told by these motherfuckers to kill you, but obviously I'm not going to do that. We're going to go after them, free the city, all that sort of shit. They'll never see it coming, proper fucking Mandarin there.
You'll never see this Mandalorian Force coming.
Regarding that's very good. Regarding a Mandalorian and a Jedi teaming up, they won't see it coming. So they go in there, and we see lots of different action scenes. There's really not much to say regarding explaining this. There's just action, lightsabers, shooting, this, that, and the other.
Right to the duel at the end between Ahsoka and the bitch.
I'm about to get there, but this is we talk about Mando talking.
Slow down, Jesus Christ!
Yeah, I'm going to get there, but there was a moment between Mando and Kyle Reese where it looked like the classic Western showdown, yeah. And this is Mando now being the Mando in work mode where he doesn't fucking talk, because the only thing he says to this motherfucker is that's far enough, as Kyle Reese was trying to get a bit closer. He doesn't say shit other than that. He's keeping quiet, he's keeping mysterious, he's keeping cold. And then he fucking, he knows what's his face is going to try and kill him, and he kills him instead. And that was great. But regarding the fight between those two, between Ahsoka Tano and Morgan Elsbeth, I hated everything about this prior to the reveal. I hated everything. First of all, this woman doesn't convince me at all that she knows how to use a fucking spear. She doesn't convince me at all that she knows how to use a fucking pair of chopsticks, for fuck's sake. You know what I mean? She was very unconvincing as a dangerous, scary person. I wasn't buying it. And the fact that someone like Ahsoka Tano, who's a badass, we've seen the fucking fight Maul and shit. Yeah.
I thought it was gonna be one of those like the Obi-Wan just over. Like that's what I thought it was gonna be.
The fact that it went as far as it did, at one point,
rip the fucking spear from her hands with the Force and shove it down her throat.
I was waiting for her to slide down the spear and just chop her fingers off. Like she could have done that.
She could have done that.
Well, the one point where she parried, where they both she had one saber on the spear, and the other saber was just back there. I'm thinking, you could just thrust her now. You could just thrust her with the other lightsaber. Why don't you do that? But she's not. And I just didn't like this. This for me, it felt ridiculous. I wish they made this woman like an Inquisitor or something. Instead of using the spear, pull out a fucking lightsaber. I wouldn't have minded a lightsaber duel there. It made sense if she was an Inquisitor or something. That would have been really good in The Mandalorian right there for that. It is the fucking Jedi. It is a Jedi episode. Give us a fucking ex-Sith or something like that in this lady. But no, they make a fight with a Beskar sword. I mean, Beskar spear. I fucking hated it. But we got the reveal of Grand Admiral Thrawn after fucking Ahsoka. After fucking Ahsoka beat bitch. Yeah, but it was pretty cool, and I got a little tingle and stuff like that. But it also made me think to myself, fuck, spin-off, another spin-off. You know what I mean? Immediately, that's the first thing but we're not going to follow this shit. Ahsoka's now gone. She's doing her own thing. She wants to look for Thrawn. How are we going to find out about that? Well, we have to watch her fucking show, for fuck's sake. But anyways.
But here's the thing. If Grand Admiral Thrawn's involved, I'll be all over it. I mean, look, here's the thing about it is that like we have not gotten a lot of, well, we haven't gotten any content from Disney. Like we've got Mandalorian. That is it.
And that is literally it.
Like, so I mean, for them to actually give us some more, I'm okay with them having 1 or 2 Star Wars shows going, 1 or 2, Marvel shows going. The problem is that Disney Plus, I don't know why I mean, I know the pandemic wise, but like, why were they not working on these shows prior to the pandemic when they announced, like at least with CBS All Access, DC Universe, they all were giving us content week in and week out, every single week. What are we paying for Disney Plus for? Mandalorian.
No,
Exactly.
I agree. No. You know what, Bob? I 100% actually agree. They need to bring up more shows and stuff like that. I don't know why I'm eye rolling because I feel it's foreshadowing other shit. Maybe I find it cheesy and corny. Maybe that's how I feel about it. But you do make a very good point.
Corny if we kept getting like tons of other content, like if we had a bunch of stuff that we're already trying to watch, But it's like we're not. As I said, and I get it, the past couple months, the pandemic has put things on whatever. But Disney this is Disney. This is the mega superpower, bigger than the galactic empire. They should have had all this content lined up months and months before Disney Plus even launched. They should have had all the Marvel stuff already going. I mean, it seems like they didn't even start filming the Marvel stuff until 6 months into when Disney Plus was released. Go ahead, Ginge.
To your point, as soon as Mandalorian finished, there should have been something else in place. And as soon as that finished, there should have been something else in place. But two of the problems is, one, the Kenobi series keeps getting delayed because they keep fucking everything up because Kennedy is in charge of that, I believe, and is a useless cunt. The spin-off shows from the Marvel stuff, they should have been filming those alongside Endgame and having it ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
But they just did not do it. They just sat on their laurels, and like there's delays with filming. Even with Captain America and Winter Soldier, there was delays in filming and reshoots. Reshoots are standards. Not saying there's problems with the thing. In this, there were some reshoots, but there was still filming when the pandemic hit. It's like, well, what are you doing? You should have been doing this. You should have filmed any scene that had, Hawk and what's his tits, Bucky.
Falcon and Winter Soldier, yeah.
Falcon and Winter Soldier. That's what you meant.
That's what I meant. Sorry. Should have had filmed their scenes earlier, then gone off and done the Falcon and Winter Soldier stuff, because then as soon as Mando finished, that should have been next.
Yeah, and they really should have been doing all of this stuff. I mean, well before Disney Plus even launched. And I swear to God, WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier and Loki and all that didn't start even filming until at least 6 months after.
They didn't even announce everything until I think it was right. Was it San Diego Comic-Con 2020 or it was their own expo or something? I can't remember.
2019, I believe. So they announced all this stuff. They just didn't have any of it ready to go. And it's like,
yeah, they announced it late. They started filming late.
And then the pandemic hit, and now they're like, well, now we're screwed. And it's but it's like, you guys should have had all this stuff lined up. Like right after Mandalorian season 1 ended, we should have had something Marvel. Yeah,
I mean, I'm not subscribed to Netflix just to watch old fucking episodes of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia and things like that. And Trailer Boys. I'm subscribed to Netflix because they keep providing new content all the time. And it's good shit. Really good shit. And Disney should have had this in place. They, in fact, what pisses me off more with Disney, more than anything, all right, is that they are supposed to be the animation kings. What animations of the Marvel or Star Wars universe have we had? Apart from, I think they finished off Rebels and some fucking fighter pilot garbage series that we got, Resistance, whatever it was.
Oh, yeah, they did season 7 of Clone Wars, and that's it.
Season 7 of Clone Wars. But just look what Warner Brothers have done, and they've been very successful with their cartoon movies. How have Disney had this property for 11 years now and not done a single shit like that? And What If? Where the hell is What If? Why is that delayed?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I felt like it should come out ages ago.
Quickly finish off on the Mandalorian episode before we go off on Disney Plus.
No problem. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, so there was 2 homages there. One was to the spaghetti western, and one was to Kurosawa between the 2 fights and all of that. Both were predictable. The Ahsoka fight with that chick was absolutely abysmal. Absolutely abysmal. She's a fucking Jedi, and it was just an insult.
I think it should have been just a quick fight. Like
she had 2 sabers against a spear.
Yeah, just thrown the fucking lightsaber at her head, or just grabbed her until she yielded and gave the information she wanted about Thrawn and all of that. Now, in terms of Thrawn and Ahsoka, if we get a spin-off of that, fantastic. I'm all for it. I don't mind. Like I said, need more content. But I before I see that get greenlit and move on, I want to see what the fuck is going on with Obi-Wan. Because I'm more excited with Deborah Chow directing than I am about Obi-Wan, the series itself.
I was about to say I don't care about Obi-Wan, but I agree. I agree about the Deborah Chow though. I agree. I think that'll be good.
Sorry to interrupt again. If she pulls it off, they give her a trilogy or a 2-film deal to do it, because that's what I'm interested in. I like the return of Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan. I could take it or leave it with an Obi-Wan series, but Deborah Chow's 3 episodes in the first series of Mandalorian were the best ones. So it'd be nice to kind of see what she does with the whole series to herself. So that's what I want before we get an Ahsoka spin-off, which it looks like it could be heading that way, which is fine by me. I mean, No,
I agree. I mean, it's starting to feel now that the Mandalorian is the Iron Man of this new Star Wars universe, and he fits. It's exactly that. I mean, look at him. He looks like fucking Iron Man, for fuck's sake. It's just incredible, and I can see crossovers and stuff like that. I feel like that's the route they're going down. I heard initially, prior to seeing these episodes and stuff like that, prior to season 2, you heard that they want to do like a cinematic universe where you have different shows and people cross over, and now and again.
That's fine by me.
I'm totally fine. It's a good way of doing it. It's a good way of expanding the world, I guess. And I guess you need to sow these seeds and have these beginnings. And so, I take back my bitching, I guess. So, but everything's all cool now. I don't know what happened to watching this twice. I don't know what happened to Morgan Elspeth. Did she yield? Was she killed?
I think she was just left for the villagers to devour.
Hello, Caleb. Welcome to the stream, mate. Thank you very much for joining us.
Ginger, Caleb was one of the ones who joined us yesterday during our Star Trek stream. So
nice. Hello, Caleb. Welcome. So, Caleb, as we've got you here, and we do enjoy our engagement with our audiences, what were your initial thoughts of the whole of this episode of Mandalorian? You can do it in little bite-sized chunks and take your time replying. We can go back and forth between what we're talking about right now and what your thoughts were.
Well, I haven't talked about Thrawn yet.
Give us a like, mate. Give us a like.
Yeah, Jason. Yeah, sorry, Exam. I'm gonna say, Jason, what are your thoughts on? Because I'm pretty sure you came really hard.
Oh, it was
every fanboy.
The coming was real. I mean, here. Look, here's my love for Thrawn was back in the old X-Wing and TIE Fighter games. He was very prevalent throughout the TIE Fighter game. I think he was at least mentioned in the X-Wing games, but he was just always that mysterious. He was in white. He was, blue, and he's just this Grand Admiral. And it's like,
yes,
it's just like shit. I was like, this guy's cool. So, I mean, and, I know he's in the books, and I've done research on that in years past and stuff like that. So, and I mean, I haven't really seen much of him in Rebels, but from what I understand, they did a pretty good job with him, even though they were kind of retconning a lot of his, extended lore stuff. But I'm excited to see where they go, because this character has always been I have always been fascinated with Grand Admiral Thrawn. And when that name dropped, when Ahsoka said that, you can ask my girlfriend. I was just like, yes! She's like, who's that?
Yeah, there was a tidal wave of splooge from the nerd Star Wars community.
So Caleb wrote, I liked it. It wasn't the best episode like some people are saying it is. What is set up for is a far greater than the actual episode.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much the conclusion we came to. It was fine, but yeah, not the best for sure. I mean, I think people are just getting caught up in the it had Ahsoka Tano in it, so it must be amazing. It's like, well, no, they could have done.
Yeah, no, and I agree. As I said, for those of us who are not like Ahsoka Tano, like cream pies, it's just like, I got more excited about Grand Admiral Thrawn mentioned than anything else. So
yeah,
which is kind of crazy because I feel like what about? I mean, so is this going to be? This I don't think Grand Admiral Thrawn is going to be somebody who is going to be involved in the Mandalorian anymore. I mean, I think this was just a plug for maybe the Ahsoka Tano show, if they do it.
More than likely,
because I mean now people
unless they're setting him up for the main big bad
over
Mandalorian.
Yeah, over Moff Gideon.
Yeah, over Moff Gideon.
The next big bad after Moff Gideon.
Yeah,
that might be. I mean, but do you think? Oh, go ahead.
So,
in my opinion, if Thrawn is obviously still around, then he surpasses Moff Gideon as like the leader of or the remnants of the Empire, unless the Empire is has broken down to all these different factions and there's no universal leader. But that's how I look at it. I mean, he's the top dog now.
Who is Grand Admiral Thrawn?
Yeah,
that was always one of his goals, was to be the new the Emperor. Like what? But he wasn't. He was never willing to put himself out there to usurp the Emperor. But once the Emperor was dead, in some of the in some of the old lore, like Grand Admiral Thrawn always wanted to be the new Emperor. So like it just made sense that when the Emperor's gone, Grand Admiral Thrawn is going to try to step into that place.
Yeah, he did. He underestimated the stupid, and it was the stupid that killed him. Oh, that's in the books, by the way. So now the episode is over. We get a little tidbit of the next mission Mando is going to be going on, and this is where the video game vibe comes into it. Now, take Grogu to the planet of Typhon, where you'll find the Jedi ruins and go to the top of this mountain and fight the Seer Stone and put him on there. And I think there's some lightning might be involved in shit, but eventually Grogu will find his path. We can answer this guy's question first before we get onto that shit. What's he saying?
Thrawn in live action. Ezra Bridger potentially training Grogu, because Luke obviously never meets Grogu according to the sequels. Maybe an Ahsoka series. So I mean,
Ezra Miller. I keep saying Ezra Bridger.
Yes.
I keep forgetting about Ezra.
He's
Bridger.
in Rebels. Yeah, I keep forgetting about him too.
Well, and at the end of Rebels, I mean, those two were kind of together. Like the way that it went was like, I don't remember how, it was like a space whale or something, and it was Thrawn and Ezra were like hyperspaced into the unknown regions with as I said, it was kind of, I was doing some research a couple months back about what happened with Thrawn and everything, and so
all right. Okay.
So that's what's gonna be next week. I have no idea what this planet is gonna look like. Is it gonna look similar to the planet Luke was on in Last Jedi? Is it going to be a desert planet, which seems to be a common thing in Star Wars? No idea. Going on top of this mountain,
like a dark and moist cave planet type thing.
Well, what was mentioned as well is that Ahsoka also mentioned that if he's going to go down the Jedi path, a Jedi will come for him, even though there's not many Jedis left now. Obviously, Ezra Bridger seems to be the ideal choice. I can't imagine who would play him. How old would Ezra be right now? Like mid-30s?
probably.
I think so.
Yeah. So
when did Rebels take place? Was it just before A New Hope, wasn't it?
Yeah, it took place right before A New Hope. So this is what, 10 years?
It'd be about in
No, actually, if it's before New Hope, then he would be in his maybe mid-20s.
No, this takes place. This takes place 10 years after Return of the Jedi.
No, 6 years, I've heard.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's not that long after Return of the Jedi.
Is it 6 years? I thought it was 10 years.
Yeah. I've
Oh,
heard 6 years. I've heard 9 years. But I've been hearing 6 years the most.
All right. So, yeah, he'll be in his 30s.
So if it's a good 15, 17, 18 years.
Something like that.
Yeah, so yeah, for sure.
I'm finding it now. Hold on. They're smarter than me.
Hang on. Rebels will probably take place 10 years, anything between 10 and 16 years before Mandalorian. Right? Maybe. Cheeto, Google.
I'm working on it. I'm going.
That's fine. Look, no, that's fine. So I don't know if we're going to have another episode where he has to save a bunch of people from a village or something before, so he's able to get to the top of the mountain or some shit like that. As much as I do enjoy the episodes, him being this person who just goes in and cleans up shit and then leaves again, you gotta give us. You don't have to give us that every week. You don't. Yeah. You genuinely don't have to give us that every week. It just felt like last week he did that shit. Last week he broke into a building and stuff like that. But he does seem to do that quite often. He's always having to deal with stuff. And it would be actually nice to have an episode where he doesn't have to do any of that. And this, like I said, this could have been it. What do you think of the? Sorry, go on.
Just quickly, it's about 10 years after. So yeah, could be in his 20s still.
Yeah, because he was 17 at the end of Rebels. It says here, but it doesn't give me an actual like.
Yeah, well, Rebels is between 5 BBY up until 0 BBY, and Mandalorian is 6 years after the Empire falls. So it's basically 6 years later after the end of Rebels. If he's 17 there, so yeah, he's still only in his mid-20s.
Okay, so yeah, so it's Mandalorian takes place 9 years after A New Hope. So 5 years after the Emperor is defeated in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, 5 years. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, so close enough.
So you want to say something, Bob, regarding this revelation of where he's supposed to go, this planet Typhon?
It's probably going to be secluded and creepy, and Mando's going to talk a lot because there'll be no one else there for them to bounce off of.
Or it could be like a Yoda-like planet, like Dagobah, just because they want to.
Fair enough. Now we got no Moff Gideon this episode. Surprisingly, I did expect him to maybe pay a visit, but he didn't. So I don't feel that maybe next week. I'm not sure. Next week we will end up in this special ancient planet or wherever the fuck this place is. I think we will have a bit of a filler episode, so to speak. Maybe Mando ends up in a hole somewhere and he has to get himself out of it, sort of episode. We haven't had Boba Fett yet. We're already more than halfway through. No Boba Fett. 3 episodes left.
Just forget about Boba Fett. Like, there's too much going on. Like,
mate, you can't show Boba Fett in the fucking season premiere and then just like totally forget about him.
Well, obviously they have forgotten about him.
Now we've got 3 episodes left.
Yeah.
So one of those will probably be filler, and then the last 2 will be like 2-parters.
So his next one's definitely the filler. So it could be him, like I said, dealing with the situation. But what is the end game then? I mean, it feels very similar to last season where he was just trying to get away from Moff Gideon, and it seems obviously he has to return.
I think he's trying to get away from Moff Gideon. I think he's trying to find out what he's supposed to do with Baby Yoda.
He kind of that was like how this season was set up.
Well, if he does we have 2 conundrums here, because if Moff Gideon is tracking the Mandalorian and then goes to the planet where he met Ahsoka Tano, and then so he knows that Ahsoka Tano's alive, and that is he in contact with Thrawn as well to kind of warn him, or we don't know. Could we get like Thrawn being revealed at the end of season 2? Next
that'd be
episode,
really good.
next episode should be they go to that fucking planet, and it's just a whole like trippy episode inside the Force, like just in a direction where it's just like, fuck it, let's go do psychedelics and get wrecked.
Ryan Johnson style.
Yeah, and then at the end of it, you get a couple of like, holy crap, it's another Jedi kind of thing, or it's Moff Gideon and his army, and they take the child, they destroy the temple, blah blah blah, and then the next 2 episodes, you've got Mando building up a group of people to kind of go after Moff Gideon to get the child or whatever.
I just feel like there's not enough. I just feel like there's not enough episodes for them to tie up all these loose ends they've put out there. As I said, I mean, I don't care about Boba Fett, but you're right. Like they've put Boba Fett like front and center. Like, I mean, like at the beginning of the season, but yet we've got not a single inkling since we saw his stupid face standing on the dune. Like, and I don't care. As I said, Boba Fett can go
Fett himself.
Go Fett himself. Yeah, like. Him and Ming Yang Wei can, they can go do whatever little honky dory they want to do. But I mean, but it's still just
make their own clones.
But at the same time, it just is irritating because they're putting out all these threads, and it's like.
Well, here's a rumor for you. I heard a rumor that Kylo Ren is the person who kills Ahsoka Tano. What do you think of that?
That'd be great.
Why would Kylo Ren kill Ahsoka Tano?
Because apparently she's dead in it by Rise of Skywalker, because she's one of the ghostly voices that are speaking to Rey when they tell her to get up, like Mickey does in fucking Rocky 5 to Rocky. Because Mickey loves you. So yeah,
Mickey, sorry.
So I would love to see if they could somehow maybe pull something like that off one day in the future. That would be great.
Well, if they did a Ahsoka Tano series, then fine, you could just have him kill her there.
Yeah, exactly. So I got nothing more to say, fellas. What about you boys?
No, I'm good.
No, I think I'm good too.
Great. So look, tomorrow we're going to be cousin Cheeto and I. We're going to be talking just all types of stuff, whether it be Star Trek, Star Wars, Marvel, DC. We're going to be just randomly talking stuff that has happened recently. We might talk about stuff that we like to happen, stuff that did happen. We're going to be talking about all of that. That's happening tomorrow at some point during the day. So look out for us, subscribe to us, and then you'll know when it's fucking happening.
Yeah, we can talk about news over this past week. People can come and go as they please. Ginger, if you want to join us for a little bit.
I'll join you guys, yeah. I'll jump in.
Yeah, so follow us on Facebook as well. Follow us on
in the morning, and then I'm free.
No problem. Follow us on Facebook as well. Follow us on Discord. Look at the logo right now on YouTube. That logo is on Facebook and Discord. Subscribe to those things. We'd love to have you. Thank you very much for watching.
Wait.
Sorry, I apologize.
That Boba Fett tease was for the Boba Fett Disney Plus series. It's not a so well-kept secret that the actor who plays Boba is currently filming something on the Lucasfilm lot.
Well, a Boba Fett show.
Yeah, we heard about the series. I heard about the series.
Need a Mandalorian type show. I think we're good, but yeah. We don't need Boba Fett.
No.
We don't.
And we'll talk about more about this tomorrow. That's for sure.
Yeah, Caleb, join us tomorrow, mate, and we'll
definitely we'll expand on that. All right. Yeah. So, anything more, fellas, you want to say before we sign off?
No, just thank you for joining us, Caleb. We appreciate the engagement.
Yes, we do, and we'll hope to see you again. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.